We are live here
Hi.
at Park Right Here podcast. This is Katrina and Mr. Tom,
Hey,
who's doing his exercises right now. And we have back with us Stacey from Mission PD, and she has some good news and some more things to tell us about something, a project that her and Tom were involved in separately but together. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it. So Tom, do you want to start or
well,
Stacy?
yeah, I mean, it was interesting because at one point I didn't know Stacy was involved with it, and I think I was looking at the person I'm working with, Dawn, and I noticed that they were friends on Facebook or something. So then I reached out to Stacy, said how you guys are involved, and she told me how they're involved. But Project Event with an I, or Invent, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Project Invent. I'm sorry, this is the Parkinson's at its best. But it was very interesting because we're working with sixth graders, and they interviewed me about Parkinson's and how it affects my life and what can they as sixth graders sort of invent, not necessarily make it a working model, but what can they invent to help me with my Parkinson's. So we talked about different things, and they came back with this like the version of the glove where they can it was really cool. They had like 4 different sensors on the glove, and it was attached to a circuit board, attached to a power. And when you start shaking, you would turn this on, and then the vibration would kind of take away the tremors. And they managed to find somebody up in that area, an older person who had Parkinson's, and it seemed to work. And then I was just absolutely, I mean, they're sixth graders, for God's sake. They're 12 years old, and they're attaching things to circuit boards. They're writing algorithms.
You
I
should have
mean,
met these kids were fascinating.
I mean,
They were incredible.
if you were a teacher and you had this class, you'd be the happiest teacher in the world.
She
They were
is.
they were polite. They were everything about them was good. I mean, I wanted to adopt the whole group.
They were great. Such a diverse group of kids too,
Yeah.
right? So what happened is in the beginning, I think you and I were supposed to work together on it. And then somehow they thought I was going to do my own thing. And I don't know, it got kind of confusing. But then after they worked with you, it turned out that you couldn't come up here for them to test their product on
Right,
you.
because they're in Jersey.
Right. So Dawn called me, since I've known Dawn for a long time. We used to exercise together, and she used to come to my class when I was a just regular fitness teacher. I didn't work with Parkinson's yet. And she said, I wanted to ask you, do you have anybody who you could suggest? And I was like, I have the perfect person. So I have a client who is a teacher. She used to be a kindergarten teacher. She loves kids. And I knew that she would immediately jump at the chance to be a part of this with the students. So we went over to the school at 3:00 at the end of the day. It's like, I guess it's an after school program. And there were about 12 kids in the room or so. Just adorable, smart, funny, personal. And so they wanted to try their thing on Suzanne. So one of them had a glove, but another one of them just had like something that you put on the wrist, like a little vibration thing.
Yeah.
And so Suzanne was telling them, like, well, my tremor just doesn't happen all the time. It kind of happens when it wants to. So they were like, well, when does it happen? And she said, well, it's kind of stress and rest. So the one kid says, zombies are on their way to come and get you and take you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
They were trying to make her nervous, and she just laughed. And then they're like, oh, that didn't make her nervous. Aliens are coming, and they have laser guns. They were going to shoot cream everywhere. Like, they were so creative. But so all of a sudden her tremor would come. They would get really excited. So they put the thing on the hand, and within a couple seconds her tremor stopped.
Right.
And they were incredibly excited, taking notes, results, and all these things. So smart kids.
Did I mention they're sixth graders?
Sixth graders.
Sixth graders.
Then there were some of the kids in the background that weren't doing that part of it. They wanted to figure out other ways to cure Parkinson's.
Wow.
Well, if you said that Parkinson's can maybe start in the gut, if they think that it can start there, if we can find out when it starts there, we can stop it in the gut before it gets to the brain. Like, they are so sharp.
That's amazing.
I was like the Nobel Prize winner right over there in the
Right.
gut, right? So then there was another time that Sue went 3 times already, and she goes every week, and they've invited us to New York, which is
Really?
really exciting.
Wait a
Yes.
minute. They invited us or
Yes.
you? Not
You
us.
you can come too. The group is going to New York to present their invention,
No
and
kidding.
we have been invited to go to New York. So I would love it if you would come. We could hang out and spend the day. So afterwards, they tried to put it on the side of her wrist. And what happened was there's a nerve that runs down the side of your wrist. And she wasn't tremoring. And when they put it on, it made her tremor go crazy, which was the opposite of what they were trying to do.
Right.
So what they found out is, I forget what the nerve is called. Trigeminal nerve? No, that's in the jaw.
Yeah.
But whatever the nerve is in here, it stimulated the nerve to create the tremor.
Wow.
So it's super cool. So it's really neat. So like, you basically gave them all the back information for them to create their invention.
I inspired them.
And you gave them the information to think about, well, what can we do to help?
Yeah.
What can we make to help? And then once they got it, then Sue went over there and they tested it on her. So that was cool how they brought us all together. How did you get involved with it to begin with?
Well, and I'm going to text Dawn in a moment after this and send me an invite. This was probably 3, maybe, let's see, I've been with Davis Finney for a couple of years now. So let's say it was about 2 years ago. They had teamed up with Davis Finney.
Ah.
And I was only one of a couple people that got involved with it. So I did it the first year, which was interesting. Then I did it the second year, and I actually was going with 2 different schools. One school bowed out at the last minute. The other school was so disorganized and dysfunctional that it just kind of went by the wayside. And then, so I actually reached out to them back and said, listen, this is what's happening. I still want to participate. And they put me in touch with this group. And this was a great group.
Yeah,
so
great.
That's how I got involved in it, because like I said, I'd love anything to do with education. I mean, especially young kids in science. I just absolutely, both of my kids, they were STEM students. So as it applies to education with kids, I'm all in.
Yeah, Dawn is amazing too. She's so excited with the kids. And I think that her attitude as a teacher really riles them up to want to learn and to want to be inventors. Some of the children in there were so remarkably just unique. There was one girl, her name was Iris. And one of the kids says, come on, Iris, let's do it. She goes, no, it's not ready. It's just not ready. It's just not ready. It's just not ready. And like, you could tell she's a perfectionist. Like, she's going to be in the lab creating cures.
Does she have the long kind of curly hair?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
And I was just like you, Tom, super impressed with these kids. Really impressed. And they love Sue because she brought cookies and she baked. It was great. I do have some videos and photos. Let me see if I can pull them up. I could maybe show them to you on the screen. But what a really great opportunity. Now, why do they do Parkinson's? Do you know why?
No, I don't know what caused them to choose Parkinson's over anything else.
Okay. Yeah, me either.
That's a question I never really asked them. I just didn't know how. That's a good question, though.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
That's one of the pictures. I have video too. Here's the video.
Okay, wait. Okay, stop. That's good. Yeah, the kid in the middle with the sweatshirt on. He was I don't want to pick favorites, but I liked him.
Oh, he's great. The child with the blue shirt that's talking right now.
Yeah, he was cool too.
he's actually from Turkey,
No.
and he's bilingual.
Wow.
And you could tell that he's still struggling with his English, but he's amazing.
That's interesting. I speak Turkey too. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Really?
Yeah, gobble, gobble.
No, that's
Hold
just
on,
a
let me see if I
personal
can-
thing.
Watch, look how
That is-
cute they are with her.
That's an awesome opportunity. Wow.
Yeah, I really, yeah,
And it's
the one kid, I liked him a lot.
and it's adorable, you know, like some children are very standoffish to adults, and
Mhm.
you know, people who are older. They were so personable, friendly, outgoing, really enthusiastic about working with her and talking to her, and just really, really, what a great opportunity. I'm so blessed. Oh, here's the final picture that they took with all of us.
Very nice.
Wow.
So sweet. Yeah, I wish that you were closer. It would have been so much fun. But maybe you could go to New York and we'll all be together.
I just asked her to send me the information and see what.
Yeah, I don't think we have it yet either, though. So don't worry.
Okay.
You're not left out.
Well, I'm gonna try to get Sarah Lynn to pay for it. No,
Oh yeah,
all she can do is say no.
I like
But
that idea.
this was such. I mean, it's inspiring to see kids like this. It's
Yep.
inspiring to see that I mean, I just, again, I'm gonna go back to, they were sixth graders.
Yeah,
Sixth graders, for God's sake. And they,
I don't know. Think about it. When do you start thinking about what you're really interested in? What really fires you up? Like what maybe you want to do when you grow up?
yeah, I want to play baseball for the Cubs, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I mean, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but like right around when you're at that age, junior high,
Yeah,
you start to get involved in groups and clubs and things like that
Right.
to explore your interests. These kids are going to be doctors and scientists. These are
well, I told them all they had to go to become a neurologist and become a motion disorder specialist.
there you go.
Yep. Yeah. That reminds me of when, my daughter, when I took her to the Davis Finney Leadership Conference in Minneapolis in September, and she had never seen anybody else with Parkinson's, and she really liked Tom.
Everybody likes Tom.
She thought he was funny. And of course, she was the youngest one there at 16. And she got to see Davis Finney. He was there. And she one of the first things she said, she goes, "Why does almost everybody have the same look on their face?" Why, the mask-like face.
Yeah.
I call it the Parkinson's face. And I said it's because, the lack of dopamine causes you to, lose the expressions in your face. And she goes, "I thought it was just you." I'm like, "Nope." And she, and then she realizes how, after 13 years, she said she was she was fascinated with the chemistry part of it, because she's taking chemistry this year. And actually her chemistry teacher watches the podcast, which totally, what did she say?
Freaks you
Made
out?
her cringe. But when her teacher came up to her and said, "Oh, I saw your mom on the podcast," and she's like,
Yeah, I know Parkinson's affects more than just the individual, affects the family. And I can only imagine as a teenager, when you're already concerned about how people perceive you. Are you too thin? Are you too heavy? Are you too this? To have a parent with dyskinesia or Parkinson's, I could see how that would
"Oh yeah,
not embarrass them, but because I don't think embarrass is the right word.
oh it is, it's the perfect."
But I think it's more, in a sense, social media is pushing them to be something that they're not, and anything that's not that is to them maybe embarrassing. Yeah, I lived to embarrass my children at times, so that's a goal for me.
Yeah, if I start having dyskinesia in public, I rush out of the store and usually go to the car as
Yeah,
quick as I can.
In fairness and honesty, that is my biggest fear with Parkinson's is the dyskinesia, because I don't want to be I don't want to be that guy, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I understand it. It's like I had dyskinesia last night with my mom, and just so everybody knows, no, I'm not in my bed. Today, my mom goes, you need to find another place to do the podcast besides your bed. And I said, that's the only place the dog's not. So,
You can bring the dog with you.
and, but no, I'm at my parents' house on the east coast of Virginia. So I'm in the city. But my mother, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And she's, I'm helping take care of them for a couple of weeks, probably more, like till May, till my sister gets back from India. So I'm up in the
Doing there?
Huh?
What's she doing there?
She's on a spiritual retreat.
And pray and love.
Yeah. And
Very cool.
it's helping her so much.
Very cool.
And, so I'm in one of the spare rooms. My parents have 4 bedrooms up here. So, and it's my sister's old graphic design desk. But my mom said, I had dyskinesia last night in front of my mom, and she couldn't take it. It bothered her. And so I went upstairs and I said, it's not painful, but, and I don't know. She said it hurts her to see me,
That's what I think it more is, Katrina. I think
Yeah.
that people are uncomfortable with other people's issues.
Yeah.
So even if you're
As a
comfortable,
mom,
you're like, whatever, I have dyskinesia. If other people seem uncomfortable around it, then it makes you uncomfortable. And if you know your daughter's going to be uncomfortable about it, you're going to want to eliminate yourself from it so that you don't upset her. So I get it. But, I have a lot of clients with dyskinesia, and I think that people feel most comfortable having their symptoms when they're around other people who have Parkinson's.
Absolutely. When I talk about support groups and such, it's like you're in a safe place. We're all the same. No one's going to judge you. So this is a safe place for you. Just to backpedal for a second with the project event, I actually asked Dawn to look into whether or not I can have the whole class on this podcast, and we could do it at a later time.
oh,
But I
that
said,
would
I
be
know there's
cool.
probably some privacy issues involved with that. You'd have to get the parents probably to sign off, all that. But I'm really hoping that we have a chance to bring them all on and do, just even if it's for 15 minutes, just so they can pitch their products on the podcast.
Yeah, or even Dawn. Maybe Dawn can come if they can't. But I bet the kids can come.
Yeah, I can't imagine the parents saying no. Well, I can, but
That would be awesome. I think we can have up to 10.
Wow, that would be fun.
It's interesting. Something you mentioned about being seen with Parkinson's is I started playing pickleball now, and I'm at a what I would say, if it's an ABC, I'm like a solid B right now. But I wanted, after time, I felt as I got to know these people, I just wanted to tell them I had Parkinson's. I don't know. At first, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to be seen as the guy with Parkinson's. And it all started basically at one meeting. I take my meds at 11. We were playing from 10 to 12. And I had to take I had to take my meds. And the one guy said, "What are the meds for?" And I said, "Well, do you really want to know?" He said, "Yeah." So I started telling him. And then we started telling other people because it was not as, I guess I could put, no one sees me as the guy with Parkinson's now. They just see me. And I was so afraid of what the community would, because I don't want to be the guy with Parkinson's.
Yeah, but you probably play pickleball better than most of the other people too.
I'm pretty damn. I gotten really good.
I have a client who plays pickleball, and he said one of the guys came up to him who was a doctor and said, "What's going on with you? Something wrong?"
Yeah.
And noticed it. And he said, "Well, yeah, I have Parkinson's." And he was like, "Really? You play pickleball like that?"
I play 5 times a week, 2 hours a day.
So does he, yeah. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "And I'm in the best shape of my life right now." And he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you have to be comfortable with yourself.
Right.
And not worry about if anybody else is comfortable with you.
My younger sister once said that, I guess, I don't know if this is a problem or an asset. She goes, Tom, the problem with you is you just don't care. And I said, what do you mean? Well, if I do something in public I guess when I say I don't care, I don't want to let outside influences determine what I'm going to do to a certain extent. So when it came to sort of outing myself, if that was the right word, I just had to say, I don't care. Either you're going to like me for who I am or you're not going to like me.
That's right.
And if you don't like me, it was scary, though, to first put your toe in the water. But the first toe went well. And then you step in a little bit deeper. And now if people ask, I just say, yeah, I have Parkinson's. But it doesn't, it doesn't define who I am. And by the way, I'm still going to kick your ass.
Yeah. I didn't want my mom, with all the stuff she has to deal with.
That's different though, Katrina. You're talking about mommy.
Yeah, and even daddy. I have 2 kids, and
Mhm.
I try to explain to them when you have a son, you become a father. When you have a daughter, you become a daddy. And I
Mhm.
remember telling my daughter, it's like, my job with your brother was to get him through college, to put him on the right path, and I did my job with him. And now I'm like I'm his trusted advisor. He can talk to me about anything he wants. I said, I will always be your daddy. I know you're a very accomplished young lady. I'm in all of what you've done, but you will always be my little girl. And I said, if you have an issue with that, suck it up, because I see you as the person you are, but you're also my little girl, and you'll
My
always
dad says they can pound sand on that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Pound sand. I was like, okay.
So we were talking food the other day, and I texted my daughter a message, what's your favorite food? And I know what the answer was. It's free food. Because I told the guys, watch this. And when it came
How
back,
old is she?
she's 27.
Oh, still free food?
Well, it's just a joke because when we were
I
younger, best food is always free food.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I sent her that message, she knew exactly what I was referring to. I thought that was funny.
That's cute. My dad always used to say to us when we were little, he used to say, all right, I'm going to introduce you to somebody. Act really weird. And
I like your dad.
he goes, well, practice, okay? So he would say, hi, this is my daughter, Stacey. And I would go, hi. And I would do something really weird, like, hi, do something really goofy. And so that, my dad was always silly. So it's fun to play.
Is that your married name or your maiden name, Melcuso?
My married name is Macaluso.
Oh, Macaluso.
Yep, my maiden name is Selzer.
Because I was wondering if you were Italian with that
No.
name.
Just married to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a mix of Ashkenazi, Jewish, European.
Oh, okay.
And so they call my kids pizza bagels.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Pizza bagels. Oh, God, I love that. Now that is cool. I like pizza bagels.
Yeah, my 3 little pizza bagels.
Let's do a tangent real quick. A couple of years ago, I went to Ireland, and my mother's family is O'Shaughnessy. So we went to we looked for St. Mary's churches in Ireland because they have a lot of O'Shaughnessy's buried there. Because I guess there's a lot of O'Shaughnessy's and a lot of St. Mary's. So we were walking around the graveyard, and I stopped and saw one. And it said Timothy O'Shaughnessy died April 16th, 1959. And I called my mother over. I said, Mom, this is what I'd like to do. I said, Mom, you got to take a look at this. And I said, I don't understand why, but the minute we got off the bus to come here, I felt this compulsion to come here to this spot to look at this grave. And now I realize that Timothy O'Shaughnessy died on the day I was born. I said, Mom, I think what happened is when he was ascending to heaven, I was coming down, our souls must have touched. And that's what made me come here. And she looks at me and goes, shut up.
I like your mom.
Because she knew me. She knew I was pulling her leg. But
I love it.
I just love the response, shut up. And that's kind of like where the thing is. That's kind of where the thing I don't care. Not that I don't care, but I'm going to have a good story. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's only meant to be humorous. It's not meant to be harmful.
I would have fallen for it. I fall for everything. I'm not gullible, but I'm trusting. So I'd be like, really? I believe you too, Tom. I feel that energy.
Well, I love telling people made up stories and see how far I can take it.
So,
She does.
use me anytime then, because you could go forever.
But I have my peace, love, groove.
Oh, cute.
And my mom was the one where I got my dancing from. My mom would, she said I started dancing before I was born and never stopped. And that's one thing I miss is dancing with my mom. But I I found this old cassette tape at my grandmother's that my uncle had saved, and it was her when she was young, and it was us kids when we were young, and she still had her southern hillbilly accent, and she sounded so sweet, and my dad was on it too, and it was at Christmas time. She had sent it. It's back when you could send cassette tapes, you know. I mean, way before the internet, in the 70s, and I was just listening to it and just hearing her young voice and stuff just brought back so many memories. We used to record on a cassette the Lockhart Show. That's my maiden name, and we would.
Wait, wasn't there what? Oh no, that was Bob Newhart, right?
Well, I love this dry sense of humor.
And
Lockhart.
and there was June Lockhart. She was on Lost in Space, I think. Or
Oh, Heather Locklear. That's
Yeah.
right. I'm mixing up names. I'm sorry, Katrina. I'm sorry.
I think no, and she's the one. Oh, I miss her dancing. She'll still do a little groove, you know, sitting in the chair with her oxygen, and you know, when good music comes on.
Good.
My older sister used to dance with Fred Astaire, and she was an instructor. I remember her trying to teach me to dance. The only thing I remember now was rock step, cha cha cha, back step, cha cha cha. That's about it.
That's actually not bad for a guy.
Mhm. Someone once told me,
Guy dancers, you know what I mean?
I was told once I'm the whitest dancer they ever saw, and it's not meant as a compliment.
I make everybody dance in my gym.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, so I do a lot of different fitness classes here and online.
No, you exclusively for Parkinson's in your gym, or you just okay? So you're really?
Exclusively for Parkinson's. I don't train anybody else unless I have a movement disorder.
How many students or trainees do you have?
I have over 75 local clients, and we have almost 500 people on the website.
That's amazing. And all these 75 come in various times each week?
Yeah. And I have a lot of private clients. I do virtually and in person. But so what I started to find was that I love Rocksteady Boxing. I love Dance for PD. I love all these different programs that we have. But I think that everybody needs a little bit of all of it.
What?
I think that it's really important to have a little bit of cardio in your life during the week to raise your heart rate, to get that elevation of body heat, breath pattern. I think it's important to dance, especially if you have freezing issues or any fascination or balance transferring issues. Dance is one of the best things you could do. So I'll bring little parts of all the curriculum into my classes, and I call them all in one.
I like that.
Mission
How did you start? How did you start this journey of yours?
Oh goodness. So anyway, just so that I don't get backtrack, bring your gloves. Make sure you're wearing sneakers. Whatever we do. And it's really a way to help cross train where people aren't getting stuck in one thing and they're not getting the strength work. They're not getting certain things that they need. But anyway, I got into this about 12 years ago. I was teaching fitness, and I'm a dental hygienist. I've been a hygienist for 35 years. And I was introduced to Dance for PD by a woman that was running the gym I was working at. And since I've been a dancer my whole life, she said, I think you'd be great at this. You should come and do the demo. And I did the demo, and I met Dave Leventhal and thought he was fantastic and was very inspired to go back and do the training. And I went back and I did the workshop, and then I went back and I did the advanced workshop. And I continued on by doing Pilates and cycling, pedaling for Parkinson's, Rocksteady, power moves, yoga for PD. So, and what I noticed is people tend to like gravitate towards what they love to do.
Yeah, like
That's
cycling.
great, but usually what you need most is what you don't want
Don't
to.
like to do.
Right.
And I know that too, because right now I'm in Bikram yoga and PT for scoliosis.
Mm.
And there's 26 poses in my Bikram yoga class. And I hated probably 5 of them. And those 5 of them I've gotten better at and like them now. And the 5 I liked, I hate.
Well, that's funny.
So it's you start to morph and you start to grow and gain strength and muscles and perspective of how to do certain things that are hard, and you
Hmm.
get better at them, and then the things that you thought you were good at that were easy get harder because you get smarter and you learn better ways to challenge yourself and to
Mm.
get stronger and things like that. So you have to also be ready to accept that part of the journey and be like, okay, this is getting hard for me, and why, and
Yeah.
try to figure it out.
I've
So
become I've become a big fan of one of our fellow ambassadors, Christine Meldrum. You know her book, How to Reduce Symptoms Through Exercise.
yeah,
What she does is kind of what you alluded to. It's hard to see, but there is a cocktail on the back of the book.
yeah,
And so the bottom of the cocktail says high intensity training, and then PD specific work, and then strength training and flexibility and balance. She's basically made a cocktail of what you just exactly said.
yeah.
It's not just one. It's not just one thing. It's everything.
I mean, I would never ever, bash any of the programs that are out there specifically for people with Parkinson's, because they really help with the camaraderie and the gathering of our community in one place. But never will you find one program that is going to serve every person completely.
Hmm.
And physical therapy is super important. You can never get rid of physical therapy. And
Mhm.
working with a personal trainer that starts to really have a keen eye and understand
Oh yeah.
how you move. Because in a lot of these classes, sometimes they move so quickly and the groups are so big that people may not get the specific full attention that they need, or corrections that they need, or um, one of the things I see a lot is people tend to not do their movements complete.
Right.
But if you engage them and cue them to have full range of motion and say shoulder to leg,
Hmm.
shoulder to thigh, then it connects.
Let me get the muscle memory.
Yeah. So they kind of need um, uh, instruction and guidance, and they need somebody to, because so today I had a client in here, and she was boxing, and when she was punching, doing her cross punch, every time that she did her cross punch, she would lift up her back foot.
Oh.
Well, I said, do you realize you're lifting up your back foot? She said, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. So that's become a habit for her.
Right.
And now it's got to be a habit that we need to break.
When I was doing rock steady boxing, I would try to help along with them. And there was one lady, an older woman, who was going like this. And I got to know her just a little bit. I said, "Hey, Susan, you got to stop hitting like a girl." She looked at me and said, "This is how a girl hits. This isn't going to do anything for you. You got to extend. You got to use your torque. You got to go through the bag." And so I would start working with her to give her a little, because it's all about, if you're going to do the exercise, I don't mean that you got to do it right. Because if you're doing the exercise in order to delay the progression, if you're not doing it right, and I don't mean this in a bad way,
Yes.
I hate the term any exercise is good exercise, because I think that makes people feel comfortable with what they're doing.
Yes.
And you shouldn't be, if you're taking a walk around the block with your spouse, that's taking a walk with your spouse. That's not exercise for Parkinson's. It is better than sitting on the couch. But I challenge those, especially the doctors at symposiums that say any exercise is better than no exercise. And I challenge them on the spot. I mean, come on, please. That's true, but let's really expand it to Parkinson's. I feel like, how do you as a doctor knowing what you know or knowing what you should know, make that statement.
I have a lot of doctors that say to people, you have to go to Rocksteady Boxing. It's the only thing that's going to help. Well, that's not true.
No, it's one of many things that's going to help.
It's one of many things that can help. But what if a person has 2 bad shoulders and they can't box?
Right.
Right? Or I have somebody who's got terrible arthritis in their hands. They cannot box. They cannot box. Well, guess what we can do, though? I'm going to show you these cool things that I have. I'm never going to tell somebody that they can't do something. We're going to find ways to do it. I went to Vegas and I worked with a guy who created these sticks for stick boxing.
Oh, okay.
And there's a curriculum for it and a training. It's got a lot of grip work. So it's a grip and a tightening of the hand. They lay on the shoulders and you strike the bag just like you would if you were punching. And there's slashes, bat swings. Now, what I find with this.
And what are those called?
Well, it's stick boxing.
Stick boxing.
Yeah, I'll send you the information because it's a little specific. Unfortunately, the guy that created them passed away. But you could still buy them. You could still do the training. I went out to Vegas 3 times and worked with Tim Lane, who created these. Spectacular guy. And the curriculum is great because basically, as you strike the bag, the feedback goes into the stick, not your shoulder.
I like that because I can feel it in my shoulders when I hit the bag hard.
Also, that I don't call it girl punching because I can punch and I'm a girl.
You know, I'm not. This is girl punching.
I know. I call it chipmunk.
Yeah.
Right. I call it chipmunk.
By the way, this is why I like you. It's funny. Hey guys in TV land, make a note of this.
So chipmunk fight, right? We don't want a chipmunk fight. We don't want to knock on the door. Let me in, right? So we want extension. Long. That's the goal. The goal is to be long. The goal is to be extended.
Yeah.
Long and strong. These sticks force people to go big.
Yeah.
They force this almost like a throw, right? So what I find is that people get more force here.
I like that.
And they use the sticks rather than the gloves, but we do both. We did gloves today.
Yeah.
And what we do is we use sticks to practice force and extension because without force and extension, you can't build strength.
Mm-hmm.
And without strength, you can't have force. It goes in circle. After we work with the sticks, then we go to the gloves and we go back and forth so that we remember extension and force. And then we use the glove.
You know what's great about our podcast is I don't care whatever podcast or seminar you watch related to Parkinson's, you never get hamster boxing.
Nope.
You only get that here. Remember that, folks. Write that down. Hamster boxing, Parker, right here. You won't get it anywhere.
Chipmunk. Chipmunk.
Excuse me.
You have to do the lip. It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh.
Yes.
You know what? And that's, what you just said is so important because, we have every reason to be, I don't want to say we have every reason to be not laughing or sad, but it's a hell of a disease. It's progressive. We all know that. But if I can make a fool of myself and you laugh, that's good for both of us.
It's great.
And,
a doctor once said to me that he didn't consider Parkinson's a disease and he considered it a condition. So I get it, but it's not called Parkinson condition.
Yeah.
Disease. So people classify it as a disease, but I could see that. I liked that actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's a gentleman within the group, Jim Allen, who refuses to think he doesn't have Parkinson's. It's like he doesn't have Parkinson's in the sense that Parkinson's, he just has a condition and it's called Parkinson's. It's like saying, like, it's like thinking I don't have cancer. I have a condition that's called cancer. I have a condition that's called this or that. And it's a different way of looking at it.
Mhm.
Again, we all say that we don't want Parkinson's to define who we are. And the one way of making that true is not to think of ourselves as people with Parkinson's. I'm a person, I happen to have Parkinson's. In a sense, I'm no different than a person who has to have cancer or something has to have something else. I think that's a more healthier way and more accepting way of looking at things.
Yeah, I want to get that T-shirt that says "I'm not drunk. I just have Parkinson's."
So I was out years ago. My God, maybe 5-6 years ago. I'm in California, and I was out there for work, and I was driving home late one night, and I got pulled over. The guy said, he thought I was DWI. And I said, well, sir, I said, he asked me if I had anything to drink. I said, about 4 hours ago, I had a glass of wine. I'm 6'2", 200 some pounds. That wine is no longer in my system. And he made me do the field sobriety stuff. And I'm like, sir, right now it's dark. I'm stressed out. I have Parkinson's. This is making my Parkinson's worse. I assure you, I have not been drinking. And like I say, I was pulled over for driving while having Parkinson's. And finally, I said, and I got to a point where I figured either he's going to let me go or he's going to arrest me, one of the two. But I said, my hotel's the next exit. If you're really worried about my driving, if you think just follow me for the next 5 minutes and everything will be fine. And then they just said, okay, we'll let you go. And they drove off. But that was one of the most humiliating.
What did they pull you over for?
I guess at night I was tired. I may have been, weeding a little bit. So they assumed I was drinking. But the thing that really upset me is no matter what I said to them, they wouldn't let go of that thought that I obviously had to have something to drink. And then, on the one where they say, close your eyes and walk, I'm on the shoulder, and the shoulder's like this. How the hell does he?
Well, I can't do that. I would flunk
But I
out.
was trying to be as polite and respectful as I could. But finally, at the end, I just started really getting angry.
Yeah. Well, people that don't understand. Well, people that aren't in the Parkinson's community or network or know somebody that has Parkinson's, really, they just don't get it. Well, they can't get it. I don't mean that they're ignorant to it. They're just not educated.
And, it's funny because when someone says, I'll pray for you, or you look good for having Parkinson's, it's, what, that's fine. I think sometimes they feel like they have to say something because they don't know what to say. And, yes, I appreciate the fact that you said, at some points I'm in my head, I'm like, well, if you're going to pray for me, did you pray for Pope John Paul? Because he had Parkinson's and he still had it. I don't know. Or if you look good for having Parkinson's. Well, what would I look like if I didn't have Parkinson's? To me, I know what they're trying to. Well, there's a comedian who's got MS. I forgot his name, but he does a great routine where he has one of those Tommy copper bracelets around his wrist. And it's on his good wrist, not his bad. And the guy says, does it work? He goes, yeah, I think so. But next week I'm going to try to put it on this arm. And it was just, it's a funny way of responding to what would be considered a kind of like, yeah, if it worked, I would have it on this arm more on.
Yeah. It's like when people say, well, you look good for 50. Really?
Well, that's great because I'm 65. So thank you.
I think that people don't know what to say.
I think that's
they want to say something that's nice. They want to say something that's supportive. They care about you. So saying, I'll pray for you, especially if they do go to church or something every day, something that they do. I have a lot of clients that go to church every day, and they pray for people every day. They're very devout in their prayer. And it's a big part of their life. So I feel blessed when I have somebody that says that to me because it really comes from a very deep place.
Oh, yeah, I understand that as well. I just find it interesting where some people just they don't know what to say, so they
don't know what to say.
Usually it's I'm sorry. That's usually what I get first. And
my friend's father.
13 years, I'm still,
And my friend's father passed away a couple of days ago, and I called and left him a message saying, I said, I don't know, I don't even begin to understand what you're going through. I know my father passed away many years ago, but simply put, I'm here. I'm just here. If
That's
you
the
want,
best.
it's all I mean, I'm here, and and he knows what that means.
And I
So
think
I'm simply
people
here.
associate it with like Michael J. Fox or, the famous people that had Parkinson's that they advertised and put on display when they weren't doing well. And people don't realize that Michael J. Fox did not follow the normal Parkinson's care regimen.
Right.
No, he didn't.
And he almost tried to drink himself away from it too, which is very.
Yep.
So of course, April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and one of the things I want to do is by raising awareness every day in April, I'm going to try to post a picture of someone famous with Parkinson's, and for 30 days say, "This is Parkinson's, Pope John. This is Parkinson's, Neil Diamond. This is Parkinson's, Michael J. Fox. This is Parkinson's, Janet Reno. This is Muhammad Ali. This is Richard Lewis." So because I don't.
Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
You
And just-
normalize it. You normalize it.
Like when Neil Diamond that came out that he had Parkinson's, through a friend I got the phone number to his agent, and I called the agent and I didn't get it. I got a message and I just said, "Hi, I understand Neil. Was a big fan. I did go to some of his concerts. I also have Parkinson's, and we're a support group. Would he be willing to go online once for 5 minutes and just say hi, maybe sing?" And now this is if he wants to. I love this on hands trying to touch hands or hands touching hands, like hands trying to touch hands, trying to reach out,
Now, touching you, touching me.
trying to touch you because I have Parkinson's, trying to touch you.
Wait, is that's Caroline? Does he sing that?
Yeah.
Sweet Caroline, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I think it was James Taylor?
I don't
Because
know.
they're about
I
the
can
same
see that.
era. They're
It's
the
the
same era.
But I never got a response back, so I just found that. But I would
I
love
did the same thing. I tried to message Linda Ronstadt on Facebook. I
Yeah,
tried to message Ed Rendell because he's like, in Pennsylvania, he's a big deal here.
Yeah.
They never respond. These big people in I guess entertainment or whatever. They don't really respond. They don't want to be part of the general Parkinson's public.
Right.
I don't know why. I wish that they would, because I think that it would really be helpful. Look how much Michael J. Fox has done for us. If we could get a group of, you remember when there was like issues with, the October 7th thing or 9/11, they had all these famous people come together and make commercials or make something. Like, it would be wonderful to have like 10 famous people with Parkinson's make a Parkinson's commercial or some sort of.
Mhm.
We are the world. We are the people.
Yeah. Like look at us. We have Parkinson's. This is something that's happening in our country. It happened to us too. We're just like everybody else, kind of thing. I'd love that.
I know Linda Ronstadt can't sing anymore, but she said she sings in her head. And
It's like people who can't play their instrument. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, she had the most beautiful voice too.
Yeah.
I was listening to Blue Bayou yesterday.
I didn't know that she was in a band. What was that band name before she was solo?
I don't remember.
She was in a band with Henley, Don Henley. I can't
Was she
remember.
really?
Yeah.
Who was
Hold on,
the
I'm gonna
Eagle?
look it up because I'm so interested. I was like, wow, really? I didn't know that. Didn't know that.
I'm responding back to Dawn, by the way. She just sent me a message.
And
Oh, cool.
one of my favorites growing up was Alan Alda.
Yeah.
He was, because we watched every episode of MASH. And still to this day, that last episode of MASH is the, most watched last episode of any show. Goodbye, farewell, and amen.
It was the Stone Ponies
Stone Ponies. I never heard of that.
with Bobby Kimmel and Kenny Edwards.
Mhm.
I think you probably know one of the songs.
Give me 1 second, guys.
Oh yeah, this is the song. Yeah, that's the song. We all know that one. That was a classic. That's a great song too. What a beautiful voice. Yeah, good song.
My favorite is You're No Good.
Oh,
That's
I like that one too. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Midnights when she was on the Midnight Special doing that one? It's awesome.
No, I'll have to look that up at home.
Yeah, look up. Yeah, because the band is awesome too, and the backup singers is so 70s.
I love that too. Yeah.
Because I remember every Saturday I'd watch American Bandstand and Soul Train.
Me too.
Woo, train.
Wait, did you ever watch Dancing on Air?
No, I don't know that one.
Well, that was like when I was a teenager. I was on that show. I would go and do the Dancing on Air because it was filmed in Philadelphia. And we used to go because I was in a dance studio. So they would call out to the local dance studios to try to get good dancers to come. It was so fun.
And Solid Gold.
Oh yeah, I do remember Solid Gold. That's funny too.
Yep.
Funny.
Bear with me, guys. If this what I'm doing now, if it works out, it's gonna be great.
All right, cool.
Woo.
Love that.
Yeah, I like to keep you in suspense.
Well, I wanted to just I love coming to your podcast. So invite me anytime. It's a great time for me too. Thursdays at 2. And you know, Mission PD has been around, I guess, for about 1.5 years now. Our virtual portal that we have, you can join right from the website for free. It's got virtual fitness, education, webinars. This week we had a great speaker, Dr. Ian Kahigis from Penn Medicine, talked, and he let me video the recording. So it's on our portal. You can watch it. But he talked about DBS and focused ultrasound and thalamides, right? That's what they're called. And how different conditions with Parkinson's would lead to a different procedure being chosen. And they just got I was so excited about this. It jaw dropped me. They just got done doing a clinical trial for DBS in the cuneiform area of the brain for freezing. And it's very successful and if you've had DBS before, you can actually go back and get another lead put in your brain if you're having freezing or fascination issues. And it has been very successful in helping freezing, which is one of the most difficult symptoms.
You want me to bring Dawn on?
No, just go ahead and bring that person on, but don't say anything. This is a surprise.
So definitely, I would check that out.
Look at this. Now, again, you can watch any podcast, any webinar, and nothing ever happens when you just bring two unrelated people together who are totally related. And you believe that, my believe.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Stacey.
So I was texting her saying, that you're on the show with me. If you have 5 minutes, could you jump on and say that? So we were actually talking about your kids earlier today with Project.
Yes.
Again, I got to say what I said. They're sixth graders.
6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Yep.
They're middle school kids. They're middle school kids. When I was in middle school, God, I thought I was smart. I'd be dumb compared to your kids.
Nah. Well, we learned differently, right? We didn't have the access to this kind of education or experiences. So had you put that in front of us then, we would have, I think, excelled as well. But we were so steeped in traditional education that we didn't have that opportunity. But now we really are blowing up this idea of experiential learning, where we really are putting hands-on learning. And it's not like it's a new concept. It's been around since the 60s. But I really feel like education is going that way.
How did you guys pick Parkinson's to do your project on?
It's just because you were available. right? So with
I like
Project
that.
Invent, you were given to us as a community partner, and
I'm just the gift that keeps on giving.
the gift that keeps on giving. Because last year our
I bet your
we have a
wife
meeting,
feels
sorry. But last year we had our community partner had congestive congenital hypertension syndrome, and you happened to have Parkinson's. And I worked with Stacey a million years ago at the JCC and knew that she worked with Parkinson's patients there with boxing. So then when this all kind of came up, I tapped Stacey. I was like, you really should check into Project Invent. I think that like this is right up your alley. I think this would be something great for your
Yeah, I
people.
can see you doing that.
Yeah.
So I was mentioning them, and I'll make the invitation again. I would love to have your kids on this podcast.
I love it. We were just talking about that yesterday in our meeting, about how you want to have them on. So we're
And
really
we
excited
can
about that.
pre-record if it was something like, because I don't know if they can do 2 to 3, but we can always pre-record it. Or if the
Sure.
school lets them do a class, think of that as a learning experience from
Yeah,
2 to 3.
we have school-wide advisory every morning. So on Wednesdays and Fridays, that's our academic advisory. But we have school-wide advisories every morning. So we could do a Wednesday or a Friday, do like a half-hour recording. I'll just get a sub to cover my room.
Absolutely.
And then we could just record then. And then that way all the kids, none of them are taken out of an academic period.
And if their parents have any worries, trust me, no one watches this email, so no one watches this show, so they don't have to worry about anybody seeing their kids.
You don't know
No.
our parents.
and they do. It's spread out.
Yeah.
I haven't learned how to consolidate it yet, but I do hit every Parkinson's group. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram and Twitter, and we're spread out, and I get more and more emails all the time. So.
Oh, it's
And
great.
Doug, this is what's interesting about right now is both Katrina and I have Parkinson's, and our symptoms are vastly different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
have
something
young
too
onset. I've
when
had
we
it for
decided to do this show, we wanted to make it raw and real, so we weren't going to edit anything. We weren't going to pretend. But it's just amazing how Parkinson's affects so many people differently.
It truly is. And even when Susan comes in, right? Like she's been so great to come in and be like our guinea pig. So they try the devices on her. And even though you both have, like where you have left side Parkinson's, she has right side, right? Where both are mild tremors, but we would try these devices and we see the intensity jump on some of these devices as it gets closer to the radial nerve. And the kids are like, oh my God, what's happening? Right? So they're able to figure out like the frequency and they're learning like, if you're too close to the radial nerve, we're going to move it up to the arm and like maybe it'll help offset this. Like it's just so cool, right?
I did an unofficial survey where I asked about 50 people, which side are you left-handed or are you, what's first side, what is your dominant hand, left or right? And which side do you have Parkinson's, left or right? And I was expecting to see not a correlation, but it was almost half the people who were left-handed had Parkinson's on their right and half the people right-handed had it. And it was just like, I'm right-handed, but it's on my left. I was expecting to see something different, but just based on the small count of 50, men, women, they're all pretty much, if they're left-handed dominant, they have Parkinson's on the right side.
That is so interesting, though. That is an interesting.
I wish that was me, but it's not. But I don't have tremors at all. I have the break where I'm heavy, or my right side is heaviness, and I had DBS a couple of years ago. So
Dawn, the best thing I can say to you and your class is my wife was a teacher, and unfortunately the last school she was in was horrible.
Oh.
And if she had your students, she'd still be teaching today.
I don't doubt it. My kids are amazing.
Absolutely.
They're amazing. A real special group of kids, all of them. They're empathetic, they're kind, they're compassionate, they're curious, they're resolute, right? They handle failure really well. They move forward. Right? They love working with you guys. It's really been cool.
That's really what you got a wonderful job.
I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I actually had to go make sure these kids get to their
I'm glad
buses.
you can jump on and Stacey, this was a little surprise for you. But
Good to see you, Stace. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
have a good one.
You're not going to get this on the Parkinson Foundation. You're not going to get this on Michael J. Fox Foundation. This is our podcast where it's raw, it's real, and we bring you these things.
Yep.
How long have you guys been doing this already now? Remind me.
This is like episode 20-ish.
Yeah.
So like 3-4 months?
Yeah, I think we started in like December, Thanksgiving. I
Yeah.
think we're probably somewhere around episode 20.
You're doing great. Stay the course, because I've been doing I've been working at Mission with my nonprofit for about a year and a half. And I think it just takes time. And my
Yeah,
husband and
gotta
I,
build an audience.
yeah, my husband and I have built quite a few businesses together. And his philosophy was always, it's going to be 3 to 5 years before you know if your thing's going to fly.
Right.
And you
Just don't open a restaurant.
yeah, you just gotta stay the course. And remember why we do this, you guys, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
We do this for the people and the cause.
Mhm.
And
I sent Tom a screenshot of a message we got on Facebook that just says, "I just found your podcast. I'm a forever watcher now, and it's really helped me. And now I know I'm not alone." So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, just
well, let me
that's-
do, are you
that's
guys
what
are
people
on
say.
every week?
Every Thursday, 2:00.
Every Thursday.
I think I'm going to I think I should add it into my schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
And have people have it as an option. Like I said, we don't have anything going on at 2. And even if we did, I'd like people to know, have it be like in their face every week.
or even to a point, if because you're a great guest. You're just a great. I
You're
mean,
one of the
you and I can fill this. We can talk for hours. And that's what I like about this. An idea would be invite your group of students to we just do one big meeting, and we do you and your group as the 2-hour, and we just have this an open discussion.
I would love it. I would love it.
And
That'd be
charge
great.
only $25 a person, and that goes to your content, and that goes to helping you fund your business. Or
I'll
your
split it
nonprofit.
with you because you guys need to fund yours too.
and tell everybody to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Just send me some keeper logos, and I'll be fine.
I will. I'll email you guys later. We'll come up with a plan for marketing and advertising this.
Yeah, and this is a great segue to say we try to keep this around an hour because we know people have their lives to go to. And Stacey, as always, you've been a great guest, and we look forward to work. And always feel free to bring Bozo with you.
I
Yes.
will.
Not me, that Bozo behind you.
No, it's always great hanging out with you guys. And Tom, I hope I get to see you in New York. Katrina and Mom.
Yep.
I'm so glad to see you again. I hope that you get back to your bed soon. And I hope everybody is feeling great. And this was such a great hour. I'm excited to come back again anytime.
Perfect. Well,
Thank you,
we'll talk to you
Stacey.
later.
All right.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye,
Stacey,
everyone.
Katrina, you want to take us home?
Thank you, and we will be back next week. Same
Thank
bat
God.
time.
Ooh,
Same
that's
channel.
nice. My
And-
favorite Batman is when Batman and Robin are being held out the window, and Batman says, "Careful, Robin. It's quite a drop." It's like, oh yeah, duh.
Duh. So everybody have a great week. We will be back here next week, and hope you had a great time. And hopefully next week we will have a panel discussion about DBS. Hopefully.
Cool. And say hi to Mom and Dad for us.
I will. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Bye-bye.